Happy Father's Day, y'all.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Sunday. And
We're back.
welcome. We're back after a long hiatus here. And welcome to NERDTASTIC, where we, a filmmaker,
an actor,
and a writer,
take our favorite properties and we ask permission to pass by your balete tree.
Good evening, young Trese.
Tabi-tabi po. Tabi-tabi po. Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, gone. Good, cool.
I threw some chalk out when you weren't.
Oh no! No! Hey, don't
point.
Yeah,
don't point.
Don't look at it. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Patricia Genosa. I'm the filmmaker. I'm the current director of the award-winning feature film Lumpia with a Vengeance.
Yo!
And we have to my, I don't know, left or right. Who's next?
Top to bottom, who have?
Yes. I'm still getting used to Zoom again. It's just, I just took off my mask, so,
What's up, everybody? I am Earl Balon, an actor / improviser based in Los Angeles, California, and I am also I'm one of the associate producers on said award-winning film Lumpia with a Vengeance.
Hi, my name is Justin Keyson. I'm a writer, and I've had stuff published in Screen Rant, and also I'm a podcaster for podcast shows such as Nothing New, a remake podcast, and Disney Plus Diversity, and also I'm an associate producer on the film those two guys just mentioned called Lumpia with a Vengeance.
Yes, this is really, if you guys are new and joining us, we may call this NERDTASTIC, but it's really Lumpia with a Vengeance, extension.
Right. Wait, Pat, what was that? You can get you can get the second issue of our comic now.
Yes, it is
on Comixology
right now. Comixology books are, oh my god.
Yeah. As well as physical copies as well.
Look, we were in hiatus for, I don't know, I can't count, 3 or 4 weeks. We literally just saw each other for the first time in I don't know how long. We saw each other's pants, shoes, at the San Francisco, the sold out San Francisco premiere of our film.
We may have drank a bit.
You guys were awesome. You guys, I saw Justin. You made some really great videos. So it was a great time, and it was cool seeing you guys. Now we're back stuck here in the Zoom window, but we're still nerding out to our favorite IPs. And Justin, remind the folks what's an IP.
I know it's been a while, so
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Sorry.
It's been a while.
So IPs is what we is for intellectual properties, and intellectual properties are of course referring to put it very simply, are referring to franchises such as Star Wars and Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. But we like to have fun here on this show, so we shorten it down to IPs. So
and IPs. Earl, what kind of IPs have we covered so far in our first season of NERDTASTIC?
We've covered Cobra Kai. We've covered Transformers. We've covered Lord of the Rings. Karate Kid. Did I say that? No, well, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, same thing. Willow.
Cobra Kai, yeah.
Willow. I forgot about that one.
Power Rangers, where we had Yoshi Sudarso from
Gaia.
Power Rangers Dino Charge.
Yeah.
You are great, Mad Mardigan. Mad Mardigan, wait. Sorry.
And we ended where last time we left you was Lord of the Rings, right? That was our last IP that we did. Yeah. And we also covered our own Lumpia with a Vengeance. And speaking of Lumpia with a Vengeance, last weekend was a very proud weekend for even our film, because we had not only did we have 2 of our main casts from our film actually debut their series. We had first April Absinthe, who is on Starz Blind Spotting TV series. It's actually the second episode airs tonight. So congratulations, April. Really brave role, April.
Really brave
so
role.
much. But we love you so much. Check out Blind Spotting. And of course, another series of is Trese on Netflix, starring our very own Earl Balon.
What? This guy? What? This guy's in the show?
I'm in the show?
How much did you have to pay them? How much did you bribe them, Earl? That's amazing.
No. I was like, here's $1,000. Don't tell anybody.
No. Just give me a part.
I like to think that I like to think that they watched Nerdtastic, they saw you, and they said, we got to get that guy to voice. I don't know if we can't spoil your character, but let's talk about Trese, your role, and whatever you can talk about it, because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Trese tonight. So we're gonna kick it off by getting Earl's insight into the role just quickly. How did it feel? It's a weekend now.
It's pretty awesome. So I was actually referred to the role by Eric Bauza, and or to the project, and 1 second. But I was I got sent a bunch of the auditions from
First Emiko.
Hey,
hi.
I'm gonna stop you.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi. So nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. We're gonna bring you on in about 10 minutes, but.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Nice to meet you. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, should I leave and come back?
No. You can chill.
Hang out.
Everybody else
Stay here
is
and chill. Stay here and chill.
Yeah.
Take a
Roll
seat.
down.
I'll mute myself and just listen to you, but nice to
For
meet
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Take a seat. Hang out in the green room.
Yeah.
Because
There's some
it's
stuff
clearly
there.
a green room.
Right.
Yeah, I just
got,
wanted
like,
it to feel more lively,
Soda up there.
Yes.
I'll talk to you in a few. Yeah.
All
keep
right.
Grab a
doing your
drink.
thing.
Welcome to Nerdtastic.
Thank you.
Earl.
What's up?
So I mean, we can say who you play, right? I mean,
I play a character by the name of General Villar.
Okay.
Also, there's another one, a smaller role, the Tamarao Spirit, which you see both in episode 5. But I was referred to the project by Eric Bauza, and then they sent me Wes Gleason, who is the voice director, and
Eric Bauza, just so you know, he's Bugs Bunny.
Yes, he's
also
the voice of
Space Jam coming up.
Yes, Space Jam coming up.
Yeah.
He's the voice of Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker. Marvin, he does Marvin the Martian. He's that guy's he's epic. He's goat. So, Wes Gleason sent me a bunch of audition sides, and I read for a few of them. They came back and they were like, "Hey, we want you to do this role, these couple roles," and I was like, "Sweet." And this was back in 2019, so it's been a while.
And you kept this from us? How dare you?
I've had so much practice lying about things.
That's so true.
It will just prepare you for an MCU, Earl. You're prepared.
I know.
Unless Earl's lying to us right now, he's actually in Loki.
Can you imagine?
What else? What else have you kept from us? Are you in Hawkeye or Miss Marvel? What is going on?
Are you a different reality version of Eugene's character in Loki?
Right. There's a lot of stuff though that I haven't talked about with you guys. So
more secrets. So
there are secrets.
There are
secrets.
Promise us that we will be the first scoop, so that we don't find out watching through Netflix. We actually hear it from you.
I don't want to see it on a website that's not one of ours.
Yeah, I don't know about that guy.
Well, there was that one night that Earl got drunk during the premiere, and you didn't. Spoil it.
That sounds like a distinct possibility, though.
I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more about the recording, Earl, how you handle, especially when we have the guests who show up, who will be showing up later in the show. So I kind of want to hold off on those recording questions till we get them. Mm-hmm. But let's talk a bit about actually the IP itself. That's what I say. Like, Patricio, how can we describe the series?
I've heard of Trese when it was a comic book. It's based in the Philippines, and I call it like the Filipino Veronica Mars, right? It's almost like a detective procedural show. But I would rather let's bring in our first guest, because she's the one that actually introduced me to the world of Trese, and our good friend, also a co-producer of said Lumpia with a Vengeance.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, we're everywhere. Award-winning co-producer Lillian Prijoles to the show. Fantastic.
We direct. We write for Screen Rant. We own bookstores. What's going on?
Yeah, and she's the owner. She'll Lily tell them where other than being a filmmaker and producer, what do you currently own? What's your
I am the co-owner of Archipelago Books in San Francisco. We are an independent Filipino-American bookstore, and probably one of two in the country outside of the Philippines. So we get to know books, like especially like the graphic novel scene in the Philippines is really intense. It's really big. There's just too many to bring over that I can't afford to get them all, and I want to. But we specialize in trying to get the best books that really represent the Philippines, Filipino Americans, and just, if you want to know stuff about like Filipino things, we got plenty of books. We fill up like 400 square feet of books. Wow. People think like we only like, Filipino books, don't you like only have dictionaries or whatever? It's like, no, we have Bibles in Tagalog. Just kidding. But we also like, we fill every section of the bookstore. We have like children's books, fantasy, YA, we have graphic novels, comics, we have food, of course. And novels. So we kind of fill up every section of your favorite bookstore with Filipino authors and books and things. So
Lily,
yes.
I have a question because I don't want to take too much of your time.
No.
But we're gonna focus on Trese, but there is a Filipino comic that my brother gave me about a decade ago, and I loved it, and I can't find my copy. So I'm curious if you heard of it. It's called the Mythology Club.
Oh, Mythology Class?
Yeah, Mythology Class. Yeah. Oh my God, do you have it? Can I buy it? I need a new copy. Yes!
Yeah!
Yo, I've been looking for that too, actually, Mythology Class.
Thick. So they redid it for 2019. So the one that you had probably had a different cover.
Yes, yeah.
So they had like 3 different covers or something. So this one is the newest one. And then also they have kind of like a follow-up called The Children of Batala.
Wait,
yo, so I've been hearing that like
those. Wait, are you telling me you have both of those in stock?
Yeah, but it's kind of flying right now because everyone's getting into like Philippine comics. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
you go online, buy it right now.
So
buy it right now.
Stop! Wait till I get my copies. Then buy it.
So here's the thing.
Text me, Justin. Just text me. And I'm going to.
I don't know if it was Budget that put it out. I think, but he tweeted out or somebody tweeted out that like this is kind of like there wouldn't be Trese without like Mythology Class. So everybody's like, or somebody.
Mythology Class is really good. It's
right.
really,
it's kind of because it's like or like it came before Trese did, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Way
I'm
before.
like, man, I need to get up on that. I don't know why in my head I wasn't like I should check Archipelago Books because I should. That's the first thing.
You did get your copy of Trese from us because I shipped it out to you. I remember. I was like, hey, Earl.
so quickly. So those to the uninitiated, Lily. So explain what is Trese and to
you got those copies out. Okay.
Are we pulling our Trese copies?
Trese is well, you said it right, where it's almost like a Nancy Drew or a Veronica Mars of Philippine supernatural mysteries. So if the Manila police couldn't figure out a case, they'll call Alexandra Trese to solve it because it might be something that is not humanly solvable. So pretty much and it involves Philippine mythology. It involves Philippine momus or monsters or some horror elements. So if you like something a little bit scary and a little bit dark, a little bit noirish, definitely check out the comics because the comics are amazing. Like and the first few books are like they're standalone episodes. So it's easy to kind of jump in and solve a mystery and then kind of jump out and just read in the middle of the book and stuff. So yeah, it's amazing. It's every time we would get it, like we would sell out of it really fast. So
yeah, Justin's trying to order it right now. Or,
I am literally bought it.
You did.
I literally bought the
I didn't tell you our discount code.
Too late. Okay. Don't worry
we're
about
supporting you.
I don't even care. I just want the thing.
I support.
I got it right here.
Look at that. Welcome to NERDTASTIC, where we make sales happen.
I know.
All right.
from the hosts of the
you
show.
You scared me when you were like, "We're running low." I'm doing this right now.
What do you mean you're running low?
Sorry, it happens.
No, it's good.
They're
it's
popular. Good. Philippine comics are very popular.
Yeah, hear that, y'all?
And that's a good thing.
It's an amazing thing.
Do you know the quick history of Trese from when it first started, what year, and just the quick? We know what it's about, but do you know the history behind when Budget Tan? Yeah.
Yeah, I think wasn't it 2005? Yeah. Budget had this idea of using Philippine mythology for, just kind of bringing it into the modern day Manila. And I think he talked to Kajo about can you create a character for this idea? So they created a male character. I know that, but he was and then Budget was kind of like, okay, well, what if we made it a female character? Because every comic has the protagonist is male. So what if we changed it up? So, and then I think they started off just by Xerox copying it and selling it at the mall, and then it got picked up by. It's totally punk. And then I think Visprint, which is now no longer in existence, but they have a new publisher for Trese. But they picked it up and.
They remastered the art too, right? The art was redrawn.
For the new publishing, especially because of the release from Netflix, they put more detail in the artwork, and they even put a lot more details in the Ablaze version, the one with the red cover. They added more detail to the artwork and to the story. So it's but the storytelling is still the same, and it's still so good. The humor is still there, the darkness is still there, and if you know anything about White Ladies, I think
it's the original one.
Yeah, it's just, man, I had friends that were just watching the series, and they're like, I don't know if I can watch anymore, it's kind of scary. So I was just ooh, let's watch this together. But yeah, it's amazing.
Now this is for everyone. How much of, since we're all Filipino here, how much of you guys were familiar with of what part, or if not all, of the Filipino mythology that was in Trese?
Yeah, honestly, a little, not as much as I wish. Honestly, it's one of those things where I've always been aware of some of it. I've heard of Aswangs before, and I'm aware of some Filipino movies that kind of touched upon it. One film I think I remember is called TikTok.
Tick Tick.
And Tick Tick, that's it. And then the other one is the Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Yeah, Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
And which, if you haven't seen any second of those, you should. They're the scariest thing you're gonna see. Those movies are grimy and freaky, and they're kind of great. But Shake, Rattle, and Roll are the only ones I'm aware of. But outside of that, mythology class and Trese is my real exam, my real kind of learning lesson of more things from the mythology and our folklore. I think Jay Torres also did a comic book called Lola that touches upon some of that as well. So I'm not as familiar. I can't name a bunch of stuff, but I have a basic idea.
Yeah, Lola is it's kind of the cartoon's very simple. Mm-hmm. The drawings are very simple and cute, but then when you start reading, you're I don't think I should read this to my kid. It's kind of creepy. But that
especially when you get to the end, yeah.
Yeah, the comic scene in the Philippines is super sophisticated, and it's been happening ever since probably the 40s and 50s, where Filipino artists would come to the States and work for DC and stuff, and then when World War II was over, then they went back to the Philippines and started doing comics. So if you ever go to your auntie's or relatives' bathroom and they have comic books in their bathroom, it's a lot of it looks very much like DC drawings almost. And so that kind of that history of Filipinos in art kind of stems we have to look farther beyond just the 90s or whatever, or farther beyond, even Wilson's time and stuff. It's just Filipinos have been there. And it's been sophisticated.
We've been all up on it.
or how much of the mythology did you know before you got casted, or did you hear about Trese before you joined the show, or did you do research?
So I actually literally got an IG message from Eric Bauza, and he was like, "Yo, I'm working on this thing. I recommended you for the project," and I was like, "Cool, dude, that's so dope." And then I read about it like right then, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to be in this." So but as far as like knowing about like Filipino folklore and mythology and all that stuff, I've actually been pretty deep into it, like ever since like I was a kid, because a lot of that stuff, my parents would tell me all that stuff, like the whole tabi tabi po thing. The first time I ever went to a graveyard, my mom taught me about that. And then, one of the things that, all these stories were kind of, they were like warnings growing up, right? They were like things to keep us in line. So it was like, oh, you better not do that. The Momo's there, or the Momo's going to get you. Or if you're bad, they're all like, they're precautionary tales, really. So I knew a lot about Aswang and the Manananggal and the Tik-Tik and like all the things that, the different kinds of monsters. My mom would always tell the story about like how her neighbor in the Philippines was killed by an aswang, or like how when she was in Nueva Ecija, like they would see Manananggal flying by and they would always try to find the bottom half, and and they would state these things like it was part of everyday life. So it was very much real to me growing up. So when every chance I kind of get to like read more about it, it always captures my imagination. Even as like in the fact that like a lot of these creatures have been brought, like the lore mythology stuff have been brought into D&D. So there's like a campaign world. Yeah, there's a campaign world called Sinauna by an independent publisher. And it incorporates a lot of the creatures into it, and like a lot of the pantheon. So, yeah, I'm I'm well steeped in it. So when I saw this that this project existed, I really, and this is like kiss of death. You never want to work on a project because like you never know in this industry, but like I wanted to work on it so hard, so much, and it happened. And I have to thank the creative team for that.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil so much of it, but right. it is a memorable role. I was very, you get proud of it. But since we're talking about Nerdtastic and Ips and everything, isn't it crazy that you're taking now you yourself have to bring this Ip to life, in the animated world, right?
Right.
And so Lily, I know that you knew this Ip way when it was a comic book. I know you only saw the first episode, but what was your impression? Like, when you first heard of the show, were you excited? Were you worried? Like, what were your thoughts going in as you watched episode 1?
You kind of always worry whenever you hear about Filipino depictions on TV or media or anything, because there is like so few. Yeah, it's just like there is so few, and then it's always about accuracy, or is it going to be like perfect, or is it going to be like watchable or whatever. But like I think watching the trailers made me very excited for it. Knowing the people that were involved was like, okay, these are legit people. This isn't like people in their garage making stuff, So because like I've seen some projects like that, and it's just been like, all right, like
that's cute,
that's cool, but then also it's just like do they have the love for it? And sometimes we get people creating like stuff in our name and like using culture behind it, and then not really being like not loving that culture, not being part of that culture, and understanding the nuances and the different small things. So when I like first you look at the credit list, you're like, oh, who's producing this thing? Okay, and then you like look at who's involved, and you're like, okay, it looks pretty legit. And then
not Michael Bay. Yay!
Not, thank goodness. Can you imagine all the lens flares?
All the lens flares.
But when I first saw it, it's almost like you get goosebumps. Like when I watched that first episode, and just seeing the trailer, you get like it's one of those things where I think I could tell a lot of people about this, and like especially if it's like Netflix, it's kind of like, see, we could do cool stuff, right? And it's gonna be on like mainstream. There's
like some legitimacy there.
Yeah, we could fill in the independent hearts and then the mainstream hearts, and we could like we could cover all the bases. So I think that and it also like the word authenticity comes up, and it's just kind of like from a bookstore standpoint, whenever you talk about authenticity and mythology, it's like, well, they're not creating a documentary, they're creating art. So you kind of would let them have that artistic like perspective on it and like and be world creators, because then if I'm too stuck on like, well, the Aswangs were this and the Chanak is like that, like they're not doing it, like, and then you're miserable and you can't enjoy anything. Like you're kind of like pissed off all the time. It's like watching wrestling.
I get the same feeling. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I understand that, because like I remember when MCU first came out, there were so many people that were like, "Oh, that's not how I remember Wolverine. No, that's not how that's not MCU, but that's not how I remember Cap or Iron Man or Thor." And I was like, "Yeah, but dude, even in the comics, there's so many different like it's a multiverse. Like you can't get hung up on that stuff, you know?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so much. Like I know that the messaging of Trese and also just the subject matter of Trese will like it'll push through like whatever. It's going to be watchable. It's going to be like super exciting to tell your non-Filipino friends all the monsters that you knew growing up and everything. So I think like upon watching it, like because I am finally on a second episode, but nice. I am enjoying it, like and I can't put any like, like, yeah, they could have done this, they could have done that, and they could have done a lot of stuff, but I like it for it. I like it for how it's being produced right now. It's like Castlevania, the first season was kind of like, oh, I thought it was going to be like a certain way, and then you get to the second season, it's like, oh, it got a little
right.
That's what I was thinking more like. So but it's like there are some things like
well, I'll tell you that just even the fact that if you look who was working on it as we were getting to the trailer, I know there's a Filipino American cast, and then there's also the Filipino cast, which was cool. It was like an all-star in both sides, right? But also I think the fact that I saw that it was going to be directed or showrun by Jay Oliva, and he's very well known. He did some DC animated films. He did
Justice League Dark, dude.
Marvel films also for Lionsgate. And then we also have some special guests here we want to introduce also who worked on the show. We have producers Mikey Macasero and Emiko Lytell. Let's welcome them to NERDTASTIC, everyone. Woo! I'm hoping I pronounce your names right. I'm sorry. Mike and Emily, welcome to
Emiko.
Emiko, okay. I'm reading the
God damn it.
There you go. Who's my copywriter?
Emiko's stuck in here we go.
There goes.
All right, we're getting.
Let's welcome Emiko.
They're coming out of the. Hello.
There you go.
I'm so sorry I joined too early.
It's been 5 years since you've been stuck in the tree. I'm sorry.
I know, that's all right.
It was nice to listen to you guys talk though, but it's nice to meet you too. Hi everybody.
Hello. And welcome Mikey or Mikey. How do you call you? Mikey. Welcome, Mikey.
Hello, welcome to Trese, everybody. Hey everybody, thank you for having us.
Yeah, congratulations on the show. Yeah,
and congrats. Massive congrats.
Yeah, I everyone's responding well. It's that you got a hit when I see non-Filipino YouTubers like putting out the reviews on YouTube and talking the reactions. It's crazy. It's really, really cool when an intellectual property like this can be translated well and people are responding. There's some controversies which I don't want to get into, but
there's always controversy, man.
I kind of posted on my Facebook, but anyway, talk about your reactions, Mikey and Emiko. Like, just talk about working on the show and has anyone hit you up, or do they even know you worked in the show? Like, what's been going on your end?
Well, Mikey, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead. Go. Ladies
okay,
first.
Well, for me, it was kind of just like, a lot of people hit me up. It's super exciting to see it out now because it's the type of thing where you're working on it for so long and you're so close to it for so long, and other people don't exactly know what you're working on during that time. So like all the blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into it, like you see it on TV now and you're like, wow, like that really happened. It feels so like just so satisfying because you know how much work went into it. So yeah, I would say that it's just really a dream come true to be at this point where we can all sit back and enjoy it. Yeah.
I feel exactly the same way. I mean, so I was actually, I've known Jay since, for a long time. Since '97, we worked back at Sony, and so we've always been in touch. I actually worked with him on He-Man and on all those DC direct-to-videos. I was his associate producer on all of those.
Nice. Ask Prods.
Ask Prods. Yeah, Ask Prods tonight. Yeah. We're all Ask Prods here. So I was the associate producer of a movie called The Debut, and Justin and Earl are associate producers of Movie of the Vengeance. So welcome to the Ask Prods.
So funny thing is, I realize that I'm connected to you a little bit more, Patricia, because I know John Castro.
Oh, what?
Went to school with Castro.
Oh, Long Beach.
When I had just started my first week at Sony, he asked me to what do you call it, to audition for The Debut. And I was like,
who are you up for, Mikey?
It ended up being one of
the. I'm sorry, Dante took your part. Dante.
Or
Dante.
Listen, if you lost to a Bosco, or Darian, or
I think it actually might have been. I think it might have been to Darian.
You mean Bagyon Kulimlim?
Oh no.
But yeah, it's just like, it's funny because I was realizing like, shoot, I'm actually connected to these guys because I also know AJ.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my other friend, props to Quincy Victoria, who also did one of the covers for Olympia with
he did our Kai cover.
Yep.
Oh, right.
And then and I went to school also with Abe Ubaldo.
Oh, what? You went to school with Abe? Big Abe?
Dude, I got him for
wait, really?
PCN. I got him to dress up in like short like denim shorts, and he came out as like my makeup dude because I was actually in the play.
Big old Abe, man.
Now I gotta see what mutual friends we have with Emiko. We gotta find that connection, But you're already connected to us. Yeah, we're NERDTASTIC, so
we're gonna find something.
Don't worry, I mean, it's just I'm old.
Like you look great. But not a thing.
But working with Jay, it actually was like when he got the call from Netflix. Essentially, like he started to put together his team. So he first called like his directors, which were Dave Hartman, Mel Zwire. And we ended up getting also like Tim DeVar, and the idea was that they would all like leapfrog one another, just like one would direct and the rest would storyboard. And it's just over the course of the production, like everything just got really big because it, like to Lily's point earlier of like a lot of eyes on it and a lot of sort of like, will we do it right? There's a lot of things riding on our shoulders. It's like this is going to be like one of the first big things that was going to be just like, this is freaking hours, And so we also wanted to do the comic justice. So,
and that's why I wanted to commend you guys because you guys treated it like as if it was a Marvel and a DC property. You guys just didn't take the IP and just kind of we're just going to do our own. No one. And to have that and to capture the spirit of Trese, and it's commendable. Emiko, did you know anything about the comic book before you jumped in?
I did not. No, I just knew Dave Hartman, who's one of the directors on the show, and he's really good friends with Jay. So he brought me in, and I met Jay through that, and then we just started working on it. So that was my introduction. But like once I started working on it, I was researching it, looking it up, like looking at all the original comics because we had a chance to talk about this stuff as a group, and we had a lot of time to discuss how this was going to look and how it's going to sound and the artwork and everything. So I totally felt like I got immersed in it from the beginning, and I definitely fell in love with the story, and I was just super excited to be a part of it.
Before I have a question that does pertain to both of you, but before we go into that, I realized I've actually been a fan of David Hartman for about more than a decade.
Oh wow, cool!
I have an art book of his somewhere in my chasm of books that I bought from him like a decade ago because I used to follow him on a thing called Channel 101 that he did a lot of.
Oh, dude, Channel 101.
He did a lot of amazing shorts on that channel. I think I have a DVD of all his old shorts, and when I was looking at like who was involved in like one of the early press kits of the show, I was like, is that David Hartman? So
that's so awesome.
His stuff really jives with the kind of storytelling that the show does. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, both of you, is that like, what kind of responsibilities did you two have, making the show? What were your duties? What are the things you have to make sure you had to take care of?
Sure, yeah. Mikey, do you want me to start with that one again?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I, from my experience on the show was, it was, there's a lot going on every day. So it's kind of like every single day there's something new that's a priority to work on that day. Or, so for example, like we have people recording, like voice actors are recording. We need to schedule them. We need to get in touch with their agents. We need to, schedule the studio time. And also there's a lot of paperwork that goes with that when you're working with unions and things like that. So like staying compliant with the unions, making sure everyone's paperwork is in order, making sure
Earl's paperwork is okay, right?
Yeah.
Yes, everybody's. So it's a lot of that, and talking to the artists on a regular daily basis, checking in with people, making sure they fully understand like where we're at in the production, which is really important. I would say like communication is the most important thing by far. Like if I have a priority in my head and someone else doesn't really know that, then that's that can take a day of time out of a very busy schedule, and that day is important. So it's just keeping us on track, making sure that every day what needs to get accomplished that day gets done, and if it doesn't, how do we make sure the rest of what does the rest of the week look like so we can hit these marks still by this day. So it's a lot of like Tetris in your mind of scheduling. People have personal lives. These are people
Right.
we're working with. Like they get sick, they need a day off, they have a personal thing that they need to deal with, and that all comes into play when you're working on something like this, and for the length of time that you're working on it too. So I know I said a lot there, I hope it made sense, but it's just basically keeping track of just making sure that everyone's okay. Everyone knows what they need to do, and people get paid.
So
I can add to that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing, because like one of the things that I know that Emmy had in our emails earlier, just before we did this, it was one of the things is that we like the production, because it's like from a new company. Like Jay actually started this company specifically,
Lexinotis,
to create Trese. So it was like he's doing that. And we're making a show, like a first season show, which is always very difficult.
Wow.
There's always so many challenges that everyone, especially in the production team, has to wear so many hats.
Right.
Normally you have a casting department, you have a production, you have art, you have storyboards, but it's like when the crew is small, it's like, well, today storyboard, this and this, and it's you're just kind of doing that. And like especially at the beginning, once like when Jay called me to be part of it, like I still had another job, but it was like kind of what Earl was saying earlier, is just sort of like I need to be part of this. It's like I don't care what it takes, like I need to be a part of this. And so there was a lot of like I'm like before I'm going to work, I'm driving cast papers, everything to get signed before the actors come in like the next day. Arranging for them to be picked up once I get off of work. Stuff like that, and just in general, like even just setting up like all the times, just like it's especially setting everything up took like that was a lot. Bowser was one of the first people that we thought of when we heard when we were thinking of voices. We had Wes Gleason, our voice director, who was amazing. We had him from we knew him from working at WB, and so it's like it was really just like trying to get like the best people that we knew. And that's how Emmy came into us.
So
it's
I
like,
was looking through my old emails really quick, and I was like, oh yeah, I have emails from both of you. And
I was gonna ask like which one of you two remembers interacting with Earl.
I definitely feel like I'm sure everyone has some emails from me at some point in the last year and a half or 2 years. Yeah, so it's
good to meet you both in person.
On the other end of the email. Yeah, it's nice to see you too.
So can we? I just so I know. I think it was someone already mentioned. I think or like the English version is the original. Everything was animated to the English actors first, right? And the Tagalog was dubbed.
Correct.
I think yeah.
So the thing with getting both, and there was always a plan to do a Tagalog version and an English version.
Right.
And part of the reason we, it was difficult because, again, to one of the things that Lily mentioned earlier about the authenticity. It's like not only to the comic, but just to, for us, as a, for part of the Filipino, storytelling, was how much of an accent do we keep on it?
Right.
Because, you run that fine line of being, what Tanya Yuson, one of the executive producers, she wanted it to be more like a Manila accent. So like it's there, but it's like, the English is very proper, but then you still hear it because they're Filipino. But, the fine line between that and then imitating your parents.
Right.
Right.
There is a line.
Right. You don't want to all of a sudden like the line sounds like belt or slipper, and just like then
get over by the kwan, yung ano,
you don't want to have a sentence that doesn't have any nouns in it.
Right. Or just a run on and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, and so there was a lot of challenges there between like how much do we keep versus how much do we, and it's just trying to find that fine line because a lot of them, are like Filipino American or Filipino Canadian, and in some cases actually not even Filipino, but they were able to, we got some great voice talent with like Carlos Salazaraki, Steve Bloom.
One of the questions
Steve Bloom killed it, man.
He's very good.
He did.
Killed it.
One of the questions I think I even saw like a mutual of me and Earl asked this question, but like why? But what was like the decision to agree that you were going to have them in with an accent in the English language version? Was there ever a consideration, or was that the idea always?
I think that was pretty much always the idea. Like if it was Filipino, like why can't they have an accent? Like why, why be ashamed?
Yeah, sure.
it's ours, right? It's like, so why not? It's like, sure, there's an English act, we'll still have like mostly English. And if we're going to have a Tagalog version, it's like, well, then that will just be all in Tagalog. So, but yeah, that was like from the get-go, that was always something that we like that was planned and that was agreed on. And everyone was on board. So it's cool.
I have this, I told this to Earl, but one of the things I thought was really cool, a cool touch in the English language version was there's obviously you have the English language one, but then also they would still say Tito or Lola. Yeah. And the translation is subtitled in the bottom, and I sat there and I've seen a lot of fan subs of Japanese anime and like of anime obviously, and the fan subs, some stances wanted to do the hey, here's a little asterisk to explain that word, and I saw this in your show and I was like, that's a really great way to put context to the word without
having to do the explanation, right?
Yeah. So if you see the line, you hear Tito, and you don't know what Tito is, but then you see underneath the translation, and you're like, oh, right there. You don't need to understand. That's very clear. I've never seen that before, and I have to applaud that because I'm like, that's fantastic. It's subtle. It doesn't take you out of the story, but you also learn a little bit about the language, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. I actually hadn't watched it with the subtitles, so I didn't even notice that, to be honest with you, but now I will.
A lot of that was so really cool. Like Jay, like that. Jay's definitely gets tons of credit for a lot of, like just not only like even plussing the story. Like not that we wanted to do justice to the story that was given, but he's always, as long as I've known Jay, like Jay might turn in storyboards late, but damn it, when you get them, it's like, oh, that's why they're late. Holy crap, this is awesome. And it's the same thing, and that's also like with Dave, like we always used to joke, we don't know what drugs his mom might have smoked when she was pregnant with him, but his monsters are amazing.
I've seen his art book, and I'm like, but I'm like, woo!
The Chanak, you should have, like, we had roughs of like a bunch of different ones, and they were terrifying.
Dude, the Chanak is like frightening. Like it was never that bad in my head as a child. And then when he came out and had the spider, I was like, oh God.
The baby sounds.
Yeah, the baby
It's so
sounds.
awesome.
The cooing. I was
But
like, oh no.
And that was really all, a lot of like was Jay kind of like basically guiding sort of like everybody and just kind of getting everybody on the same page, kind of like, okay, this is what we should do here. And then even thinking ahead to like, okay, this is going to happen in this episode, but this is going to pay off later in this episode. And so, and we actually did them out of order.
Oh, really?
We even had to think of that. Like there was all of that mental juggling going on of like, oh, this character can't be in these clothes, like that kind of stuff where it's like, oh, this will give away something later. So
oh my God. So I kind of have to ask. I know like when I first got my first session was back in 2019, and then pandemic hit. What kind of impact did that have, like in terms of production? That must have been huge.
It was huge, yeah. And obviously something we hadn't experienced before, so there was really no like roadmap of how do we deal with this kind of thing. So from what I felt like it was just hard to switch gears in the middle of something because we had all been having this workflow. It was working for all of us. We all kind of like, had our own rhythm going and we were in that like sweet spot. But then when that hit, it was kind of like, oh, now we have to reconfigure this entire machine to work from home. And some things like aren't as easy, like recording, for example. That was tough. And I think it was really tough on like a lot of the cast because like you have to try to kind of be your own engineer at some point when you're recording yourself, sending in the files. Like that's not easy. And
no.
And you're recording in other countries too, right? You're recording with other countries as well.
Yeah, and there's people all over the world in all different time zones. So you have to hit a spot that's that was really tricky. Like in just like my day-to-day, like I just keep thinking like, oh no, he's over here and she's over here and we're over here in LA, so we need to figure out what time's gonna work. I'd be like Googling like, what time is it in Manila right now? And try to figure it out in my head. Like it was definitely a lot of juggling, but but we proved it could be done. So that is also something. But yeah, it was, I would say the recording part of it was particularly difficult, but once we figured it out the first couple of times, then it was similar to like how I described before. It was like, oh, let's do that again. Let's do it this way again. Let's forget about this method since that wasn't as smooth. We kind of had to learn as we went.
And I will say that's like across the board, that's kind of like a lot of people, like, even like Netflix and everything, like everyone is a little bit more forgiving because they understood like this has never been a thing before. So it's like, well, let's figure it out.
Was there any talk about how to balance how much violence was going to be in there? Like was it already like kind of already established? Because it's cool that it's very R-rated, but it's like did you cut off a lot of things off the because you have to cut it down a little bit, or what we see is what we get,
So yes, to answer your question, like simply yes, there was a lot of discussion about all of that. Everything.
Because there's some sexy stuff in the books
like,
too.
Oh yeah, there was some stuff that didn't even really make it to the final cut that we had to, we got some notes back and we had to revise some things, of course. But I think all the really gory things we would talk about and be like, oh, just in case, let's get this, this shot on layers in case we have to remove some blood, make sure the blood is on a different layer so we can take some out if we need to, or, kind of, or like cover some girls up in their outfits a little bit more. Like there were always revisions made like that. Like it would be like kind of a backup to use just in case. And in some instances we did have to swap some of that stuff out. So it was definitely a discussion. But we did our best, and I think like Jay and Dave, like they're all for that stuff, so they were like, yeah, let's do it, let's go, like let's go for it, let's go big. So we definitely tried to put as much of that authentic, like blood and like that vibe as possible, but we had to pick and choose sometimes.
I don't know if you're aware of the of some of the thirst that's happening with some
for Kambal, for stupid sexy Aswang.
Dude.
There's the Nuno?
For
Nuno?
Nuno?
Yeah.
Nuno,
Sexy
really?
Nuno.
Some for Talagbusao, yo.
Oh, Tangina, no.
I know, come on.
No.
That's so funny.
No, there's this one Aswang that we keep making jokes about. He's the specific.
It's the Alucard. It's the Alucard Aswang.
Alucard. And we're just like, where's his shirt? And why is it the shortest jacket I've ever seen on anyone?
And why is he living rent free in my head?
And why is he not leaving my brain for a week?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. No,
I will say that
was
those
scary.
designs were not on accident. I mean, they blew up in a way that I don't think anyone kind of knew they would, especially with Nuno. I mean, the dude in the sexy Nuno, he still has the manhole cover.
I
on his
can't
head.
believe
Yeah,
I've missed all the sexy Nuno stuff. That's hilarious.
Please look it up.
Maybe not. I already got the Aswang in my brain. I don't think a sexy Nuno has room.
Nuno.
There's
No,
room.
Earl, no!
Don't share it. No.
I think I know someone in the Philippines like commenting on the show, and he's like, my Facebook timeline is just filled with everyone being way. I never thought I'd be reading people get really thirsty for Aswangs or any of these kinds of creatures. He's really thrown off right now.
I love it.
There's no limit to what the internet can do.
No kidding. No
Rule
kidding.
34 is a thing.
That must feel great though that the show was getting all these really cool reactions, and I know there was a tease at the end of the episode. Is there a possibility this could be a season 2, or what's happening?
That part we honestly don't know. Like,
What can we do? What can we do to make sure episode 2 happens?
Those are discussions above our pay grade. So
yeah, just watch the show.
Fingers,
yeah.
man.
If there's enough hype, we're all hoping for the best.
Anyone's watching this right now, I see 31 folks out here. If you guys haven't watched Netflix or Trese yet, you gotta watch it. Right? Binge watch it. It only takes like 3 hours. It's only 6 episodes, right? So
and tell your friends to watch
it moves
it
fast.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I remember I was like, I'm gonna watch the first episode and just kind of like go throughout the week, and then all of a sudden I realized I was on episode 5.
I couldn't do it because like I had planned a watch party for my episode and the last one, and then I was like, all right, I told everybody, all right, watch 1 through 4. So I did the same. I watched 1 through 4, and then like it was like 24 hours until the watch party, and I was like, I can't do it. I have to watch. I have to finish. I have to finish. Because, God, I'm glad that everybody's enjoying it. It's pretty awesome.
Well, we have Lily in here. Have you guys gotten your books yet? I'm sure you guys used it when you guys were by productions, but I don't know if there's anything in the bookstore that you probably need, or maybe mythology class, or maybe you maybe had that book already when you're researching it.
I actually have mythology class and everything. In
oh, yeah.
Nice. You guys are talking about it.
Yes.
Nice.
I actually don't. I had access to a bunch of like digital PDFs, and we used those.
Nothing beats print. Nothing beats print.
But I don't have the print. No, like Jay had a ton of them. Like I think he might have had those like in his office, and we would look through them. But
yeah, because he got them
when I was
directly
working,
from Tanya.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
So you got the old
But
school
no, personally,
versions.
I don't have any of the print ones. I have to get them, but I hear they're pretty hard to get your hands on these days. So
Yeah.
I'll just be patient.
You might have to ask Lily to help you
might
out.
know
with that.
someone
Lily might have
They might
an
begin-
insight.
Hopefully it's easier
Oh, wow.
now than it was before. As soon as I get my shipment from the Philippines, it'll be a lot easier. But we can't get a
Awesome.
lot. Like it's just so. But we try to get as often as possible throughout the year, because these are hotcakes.
Yeah, they are. They
They got-
really are.
They got the sexy Aswangs and the sexy horsemen.
Of course.
They got Trese
Yo.
is cute, man. Like Alexandra
Yes.
Trese, she's super
Oh,
smart.
yeah, dude.
She's super
Mhm.
like she's the bossing of all the dudes like at
Yep.
the Diabolical.
The
She's like
jacket
yeah,
The jacket?
that kills me. I'm
She's
like, I
like-
want that.
Yo,
she's like this whole show is a thirst trap. Like it's just like everyone it's all the thirsty people to stick and watch, right? Like that's how you just tell that to your friends to watch. Like
That's how you should promote it now. Just tell Netflix that the thirsty show.
it's thirsty.
Put all like
It's
the
thirsty.
thirst versions of all the characters.
I know.
It's not
'Cause
that
there's
hard
so
with
much.
one of them.
the Kambal, like everybody, like Crispin and Basilio, everybody's like all up on.
Dude, those characters are gonna be cosplayed like this
so
Halloween,
hard.
or
I can't
emissary. I'll dress as an emissary all day.
There's I saw like
emissary, Shout out to Didi.
There's an amazing cosplay I already saw on Instagram of Alexandra and the twins in the Philippines, and it's just incredible. They did the way they did the mask is so cool, and there's this great shot that she did of like over a manhole cover with like a piece of the truck nut, like ready for Nuno to grab. It's so good. And I hope to see. My hope is like when conventions come back around, I look forward to seeing a bunch of like Filipinx kids dressed up as her.
Oh yeah,
I'm
dude!
Really looking forward to that.
That's gonna be
that would be awesome.
And Earl should cosplay as his character. Now, Earl, I didn't say which one. You're either going to be the general or that sexy Minotaur looking guy.
Yeah, that's right, sexy Minotaur. There's
Senor.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I know. I can't wait to see the cosplay though. Like that. I low-key want to be one of the Kambal as cosplay.
You should totally rock it.
Do it.
You just need a counterpart.
Yeah, I do.
Can you do the part somebody. With the Gatling?
Or hold. With what?
With the Gatling gun?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll tell you, when the Gatling guns came out, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Also, I need to bring that out earlier. I don't care, whatever.
That's Form Blazing Sword, man. You can't pull out Form Blazing Sword in the beginning.
The Megazord to fight putties?
Oh my God. If I can't find someone, I'll just like put a little popsicle stick on my shoulder with like a little mask. So it's like that'll be my counterpart. I don't have to find
amazing.
Perfect. Do it.
I dig it. I'm in for all of it.
So funny.
Now, actually, another thing that got really a lot of attention on Twitter, it's before you even saw the episode, is the twins doing the lip point.
Oh yeah.
Like that went like
bonkers.
I think that one, like people on Twitter, like Filipinos on Twitter were like, oh my God, they animated it.
I know, because I tripped the first time I saw it. I was like, did he just do the lip point?
I didn't know that was such a big thing.
Oh yeah, that's how our parents communicate to us.
Yeah.
like with nodding with the lip.
Like, Hoy, Justin, get.
Oh,
Hoy.
Don't.
And you have to try to make that invisible line to like what they might be pointing at.
It's like, okay, so you're asking me to get the pot. Okay, got it.
Right, it's over by there, by the Kwan.
Where, Ma? Where?
Don't.
Oh my God.
Hindi yan.
I know.
You know.
I need a noun. I don't.
Mom, please. Why is this charades?
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
What was so cool about the was the marketing campaign too, like what they do with the billboards.
Yeah.
That I mean, I don't know if that was Netflix's idea of the ad agency. I mean that they I think it's the whole thing when you have Netflix behind it, you can do all these creative things. And so, that's how you treat an IP, right? It's like, wow, you market a newly adapted IP. And so I think you guys captured the spirit, adapted it well, found the right balance between, finding the characters and the violence and, the thirst, I guess, what's going on. Because, I can't show my 4-year-old son yet, but obviously it's something that we are, when you watch it, just so much, and not because Earl's in it, but we feel so proud to see this. I'm actually even now digging through the comics. I got to now collect all the other ones that I've missed the series because I know it's a little bit different, the adaptation.
Yeah.
But what else can you tell us about any of your projects you have going on besides Trese?
Well, for me, I actually, after Trese, I kind of left Los Angeles since it had been like, a pretty decent amount of time that I was there working on the show. And while I was working on it and with the pandemic and everything, it was really difficult to travel and, see friends and family and deal with personal things. So I just, took that as like a moment to be able to go like see my family and see people that I hadn't seen in a while. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I don't have anything that I'm currently working on in the animation world.
And for
That's
season
kinda
two,
awesome,
season
Yeah, I
two,
know.
season two.
Yeah, fingers crossed,
Crossing
right?
fingers.
Me too.
Mikey?
So my day job is I'm the alternative content manager on Bob's Burgers.
Nice.
Oh.
So basically, like anything that's not the show, like it just got announced, so I think I can talk about it. Is the new album that's coming out?
That's awesome.
I got to curate that. We did a DC shoes and Bob's Burgers collab. That was me. So like anything that's not the show, that is that's basically gonna end up in stores. Is probably past my desk at one point, but busy doing that and being a dad. So
happy Father's Day then.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell, and that's plenty. Trust me.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely sure it is.
Lily, is there anything else that you would like to ask them that's pertaining to the comic book while we're still here and you got their attention?
I have a question about the show, actually, because like, what is the connection? And there might not be, but we were talking about this on our show. But is there a connection between BoJack Horseman and the Thick Balon tribe? It's a Netflix thing. It's a Netflix tied, but we thought it was just so weird. We're like, BoJack Horseman is he's like a humanoid horse guy.
It's all connected. It's all connected.
It's all
Our humanoid horse guys. I mean, could he be the lost son of the tribe or something?
Perhaps, maybe he's out here in Hollywood trying to make it.
Not to my knowledge, but I wouldn't put it past, because I mean, there's so many like Filipino character designers and just designers in general that it's someone might have slipped a little
something in there.
That's a great question, though. I never really put that together, but
it's silly.
It's gonna live in my brain rent free, like all the sexy versions of
now people are gonna do that. It's gonna be part of part of the whole meme thing.
It's like the Pixar theory. They're gonna probably find too many connective tissues, and eventually we're gonna find out that Will Arnett and Manny Jacinto are related somehow.
I've spent entirely too much time just now looking for sexy Nuno stuff.
You haven't found anything?
You're gonna share your screen?
I have it, or I'll send it to you.
Oh, it's so sweet. I just want to know. It's all about validation in my head. So
is there
this has to exist,
word
right?
bubbles from the sexy Nuno, and can you get Eric to voice it for you? Just a personal,
the ultimate birthday gift.
Birthday gift.
Yeah, Bowser, man, he's freaking amazing.
He's great,
he's
man.
so talented. He makes it look easy too.
He does.
He really does.
His Chris Rock is crazy.
No, he has a Chris Rock.
I didn't know
he has a Chris Rock.
Did not know that, and now I need to hear that. That's fantastic.
We should. I mean, Earl, quickly on your on approaching your part. I mean, now, what reactions have you gotten from folks who've seen you? Were they just as shocked as we are that you were on the show?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because this is how it is, right? When, especially it seems like with voice work, both in animation and in video games, it's I'm working on this thing. I can't tell you what it is, and it's it takes forever, right? I mean, video games, it's 2 years sometimes before I can actually announce what it is. So same here with Trese. It was amazing watching people get excited about it without knowing that I was connected in some way, shape, or form, and just watching the hype build and people going, I can't wait to watch this, and I have this little secret. I'm like, I can't wait to share. So when it got announced, I actually asked Tanya if it was okay to talk about it, and she was like, yeah, go ahead. Just don't reveal things.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. Y'all know what things. Lily doesn't know what things. But
She's still in episode 2, so we can't.
She's still in episode 2. But
just talk about it.
That was amazing to be able to drop that on social media. Hey, yo, I'm working on this. Everybody's like, what? And I was like,
have people hit you up yo, I just saw your name.
Yeah.
I mean, not even his name. You already know. Once you hear his voice, that's totally Earl.
That's definitely Earl.
You cannot mistake it.
Yeah, there's that
Earl,
too.
can
It's
you
like, is this
remember-
you? Well, what's up?
Like Earl, I think like because like was Tanya talking to you also about your dialect as well? Or
Yeah.
was that
So like when I was recording my lines, especially for the general, Tanya was coming in through Zoom, kind of auditing like the accent specifically. So it was a lot of hands-on stuff to make sure everything was very, very much authentic, you know. So
do you remember anything she kind of was like specifically going, can you do that different? You know, like was there a particular hard one you were like, did I not? It's like you know that meme of like I nailed it, right?
We're moving on because I nailed it, right?
We'll come back to that.
I know we'll come back. I don't know. I feel like
really hard.
No, I didn't have a lot of like Tagalog or Filipino to actually like lines. I don't think. But yeah, I don't even think I said a Filipino word, if I can remember. I said lakan once, but that was it. Otherwise, it's just my dad's
cussed.
accent.
I know you cussed. Yeah.
Oh, tangina. Did I cuss? Can you remember? But yeah, otherwise it was just my
Really
parents'
quick.
accent, but like not like heavy.
Really quick, there was one part where Hank goes off and he just starts cussing.
Right.
When we recorded John Briones, like it was one of those things where like just go, just go, and he just went off.
I remember that
And then
part.
at the end, he was like, oh, that felt good. That's like,
Because that was in the car with the kambal, and they broke the whatchamacallit, the handle, right? And I think he goes like, "Putang na, alika dito, I'm going to," you know, I can't remember what he said, but he goes off like Filipino parent style.
his purple
It's
oak tree
like-
shirt.
Yeah.
You like ride off into the sunset as you hear that too. It's
So
like
good.
move to
So
the
good.
next scene,
So
but
good.
it's like a sunset.
I love Hank's outfit, by the way.
Oh yeah, the purple.
Yeah.
Yes.
That oak tree suit, like he's been holding on to it
Oak
since
tree.
the late '90s.
Like,
Oh,
he's
man.
had that in the trunk. For,
You know,
yeah.
he's probably
It's like,
he's spraying cool water on himself.
it totally would be, wouldn't it?
His Dracar Noir.
Dracar or Old Spice. Polo, that's it. It's a polo.
Man.
Oh my goodness.
Polo sport.
Any other questions from anyone else as we were getting ready to wrap this up?
No more thirsty questions. We're good.
No more. Are we?
Right.
Is everyone quenched? Or
Are the thirsts quenched?
are the thirsts quenched?
No.
Everyone's gonna be tuning in on Netflix to rewatch Trese after this live stream. But that does conclude our show for tonight, everyone. Thank
And this
you
ends
all
Trese
for joining
week.
us. Yeah,
Right.
Is this the
Oh
end
wow,
of Trese
are we
week?
the last show of Trese?
Are we the
week?
last show? Really?
Yeah.
Wow, look at
Ooh.
that.
Wow.
Oh no.
Where can
for
everybody
having
find
us.
y'all online?
What's that?
Or if you're willing to share that. I mean,
Like
you don't
social
have to.
media or
Yes, if you have any
Oh.
share.
yeah, I don't use Twitter or anything. I'm on Instagram though. It's EMIKOKONUTS is my handle. Emiko Coconuts. My name plus coconuts.
Got it.
And mine is just Nix the Knife. NYXTHEKNIFE. That's just Instagram.
Next,
Like that's the only
the-
thing I've got.
The knife.
Mhm.
I think.
So
that's
check out also Lily, your bookstore, and also your live stream. Also, let the folks know where they can find you.
All right. We are at archipelagobooks.com. We do discount codes often, so just check us out on at Archipelago Books on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, all of our things. On Saturday nights at 8 p.m. we are reviewing things, and so for the next 3 more weeks we're doing Trese. This Saturday, Earl's coming on, and we're gonna talk to his silky baritone voice.
Well, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
But we just do deep dives and get really we break it a little bit more down, the monsters, the moo-moos, and all the things. So if you like that, we're doing that on Archipelago Books Twitch TV. Just go.
Awesome.
Just look for us.
Cool.
It'll be silly.
Cool.
Thank you, Lillian.
Cool.
And we got to thank you, Digital Click, for partnering with us to help with branding and digital marketing. Where can we find Justin and Earl?
So I'm everywhere online at Early Be Good. That's EARLY BGOODE. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all the stuff's everywhere till the end of time.
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Quiz and Twitter at Justin Keyson. And I guess I'm actually keeping the Trese party going because we're going to be covering the show on my YouTube channel, Disney Plus Diversity, where we do a side talk on other properties that's not Disney related. And we will be doing another review of Trese with my co-host, who's not Filipino. So I'm actually really looking forward to hearing his reaction to the show and how he feels about it. So that should be coming out this week as well.
So cool.
And you can find me, Patricia Janelsa, at Kid Heroes. And also we have our award-winning film that's still in the film festival circuit, Lumpia with a Vengeance. You can follow us at Lumpia Movie on Instagram and Facebook. We also just have our new comic book, issue number 2, that just came out. 13 variant covers, and it's on Comixology right now. This is the first time that Justin and Earl and Lily don't even know this. We are going to be announcing an East Coast premiere very soon this summer.
No way!
As well as our Southern California premiere. So stay tuned.
Oh shit!
My lips are sealed.
East Coast premiere.
Official.
Did not know that.
Nothing is official yet, but it's coming.
Start saving money.
Also, Earl, tell them also the Geekish Network. What else is going on this week?
So, really quick, everybody. This show, NERDTASTIC, is part of the Geekish Network. We do have a family of podcasts and streams that happen over the course of the week, including NERDTASTIC. There's Pan Geekery, which is on Mondays. There's Pots and Pan Geekery, which is our nerdy cooking show. We just covered Trese last week, and we did the Aswangs with Kam Balsamic Talagbusaw-sawan. So that's a mouthful, but we did that. And we have Geek Beast every day. We have Origins Illustrated. We have Pod Squadron if you are into Star Wars. We have Tech Nubians. So we got a lot of shows. Just check us out in the schedule right below us, and you will find something that you're going to like. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Please visit your local bookstore and comic book store. Check out Netflix, Trese, and also check out the comic book series for Trese.
Thank you, Mikey and Emiko. Thank you,
thank you so much, Mikey and
for
Emiko,
joining
and
us on
Lily,
NERDTASTIC.
thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
We'll
Thank
see you
so
next
much.
week, you guys, on NERDTASTIC. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Who are we rating?
Let's go say what's up to have we rated Sarazale before? Let's do Sarazale. I don't think we have.
We're rating.
So everybody, we're gonna go say what's up to Sarazale. She is another streamer. Also up on the love for Trese. So let's go say what's up. And have a good night, everybody. See you later.